It's been a wild week when it comes to user reviews, hasn't it? It's been a wild couple weeks. You know, at first we had this big hubbubaloo about Rotten Tomatoes and Captain Marvel review bombs, review bombing a movie before the movie came out, which ultimately isn't even true because you can't review a movie before it's released. But that prompted Rotten Tomatoes to act, to change things, to go and try to make it a little bit different in order to combat what they viewed as being just a lot of, online trolls. But they succeeded too, by the way. They got rid of the audience want to see score, at least in regards, they got rid of the audience want to see comments. The score is still there, but the comments were gone until the release of the movie. And then it was hit by a lot of different people. It was absolutely hit by a ton of people after the fact, but they saw it. So we have no idea whether or not they were true, they were factual. And even now, Rotten Tomatoes is coming at this from the perspective of like, how do we further verify and validate people seeing these movies? What they like to do is they're probably going to start making it a thing where you have to go through the Fandango app in order to be able to actually review. Can you verify that you saw this movie? Good. If not, get out of here, you bastard. But that being said, Steam is currently in the same boat. They are actively trying to change its user review policy to combat review bombing. Yeah, we're getting rid of user reviews. At this point, critical reviews are obviously going to be allowed to say, never mind the fact that we found out that a lot of people like to, play softball in order to maintain their access to these companies, which is a practice I think fundamentally, we all kind of understand. It's one of those unspoken things that should not be talked about publicly, but Sci-Fi Wire did, and now they've drawn a lot of attention to it, and a lot of people are kind of going, what the hell are you guys talking about? And that might then change the way certain things are done. And that's not ultimately a bad thing. But it says here, Steam is getting a major overhaul when it comes to its users, with Valve announcing a plan to try to fight back against review bombing. Hot on the heels of the decision by Rotten Tomatoes to dump pre-release comments, it appears as though Valve is trying to do the same thing with video games. It says here that the Steam platform has come under heavy fire for its policies on moderation. Last year, Valve released a statement revealing that games on the service would not be regulated unless strictly illegal. Yeah, but Rape Day was recently going to be coming out until there was a big pushback from the progressive left media that was all like, you can't have a visual novel like this. Never mind the fact that the whole thing was simply just a very terribly written choose your own adventure set to the backdrop of a zombie apocalypse with the main character named The Boss raped and killed people before zombies could also rape and kill people. It was kind of lame. It was pretty stupid, but the guy is now selling it on his own, and he'll probably make a fair amount of money as a result of that. Quite frankly, at this particular point in time, it's kind of stupid to not go for the outrage culture, because you know that if you get it written up just well enough in the blogs, you can make a lot of money. And Steam, you're an idiot for doing that, because that could be your money. Partly, at least. And you're an idiot because you said, we're going to give up on moderation. We're going to move away from the moderation. Unless it's illegal or it's clearly trolling, we're not going to let it exist. Here's the thing when it comes to Rape Day. You don't know if it was trolling. The thing's not out yet. The guy cited all the sources that would combat any argument that would even remotely say that video games cause violence. In fact, I kind of want to start sending that particular link to people who say that Fortnite caused the Christchurch shooting. Because, that happened. But anyway, it goes on to say here that this came to a head recently with the game glorifying rape and Valve's glacial response and time taking it down, causing warranted controversy. No, it's not warranted controversy. It's not controversy at all. The game was a visual novel written by a guy, and they were going to allow it, as I just said, until people got mad, and then they pulled it. So they kind of cucked themselves when it comes to their own moderation policy. Just saying. Now, it says, nonetheless, Valve is making a change when it comes to Steam user reviews. The company revealed in a blog post that it will be looking to combat any future review bombing campaigns. To protect the review score of a title from review bombing that may have little to do with the quality of the game in question. Quite simply, Valve is going to identify off-topic review bombs and remove them from the review store. Okay, so Valve is going to be getting rid of the potential to review bomb. But to be fair, it doesn't happen very often on Steam. You don't really hear about that sort of thing at all. I mean that, like, really. The only recent time something like that really came up was in regards to Metro Exodus, which left Steam after being on pre-sale for a while, moved over to the Epic Store, where it was, summarily completely blasted by people in the YouTube area who didn't like the fact that Epic was paying for basically exclusivity, never mind giving the game a better deal overall with the money. Something Valve should probably maybe pay attention to. But the thing is it got hit. Metro Exodus's Steam page got slammed with a ton of negative reviews as a result of this move. Hell hath no fury like a pissed off PCMR, am I right? I mean, not literally. They get mad and then they get even using Steam reviews. But now that's going to be going away. And I'm not saying that Valve should do that. Just like I don't think Valve should have gotten rid, or not Valve, but Rotten Tomatoes should have gotten rid of the comment section for that. Like I'm not against it being there, but certain things do get abused. And when they get abused, it's not all people coming in and expressing their valid opinion, their valid criticism. That's the problem, is trying to sift through the bullshit from the valid content. And now I know a lot of people out there argue, well, it's all valid content. It's not, though. Some of it is bots. We've seen this. In regards to Rotten Tomatoes, people were botting the review pages for Captain Marvel with not only positive reviews, but negative reviews. They were absolutely hitting it with both. And this is a problem. One of the reasons why Valve is currently, or not Valve, but Rotten Tomatoes is always trying to find a way to stifle it, find a way to stop it. And with with Valve here, I don't know if you can review bomb a Steam game. I don't know if you possibly can. Not to say that it's not possible. I just don't know if it's doable. You know, I don't know the context. I haven't heard of it happening yet. But there are people out there that do sit in these Discord groups or on Steam forums that do go after certain games if they want to. The thing with it is, though, and this is true, oftentimes one would argue that it's almost warranted on Steam because it's because they're fighting back against like a really crappy, practice, right? Like you have all those really terrible game developers that would just release really horrible games. Then Jim Sterling would take a crap on them. They would get mad at him. But then also they'd be mad because all of these Jim Sterling fanboys would be bum rushing their page and leaving it negative marks. But oftentimes those games were discovered to be either complete ripoffs, troll jobs, or whatever. So it's the question of, is this a valid, service to the industry versus just outright trolling? We don't know. And Valve is also in the same boat. I don't know what they're going to do in regards to all of it. I don't know how it's going to play out, if it's going to play out at all. They're probably heavily considering at this moment in time, and a lot of people out there are not going to like it. I think any change to Steam as we know it is not going to be met with praise. It's going to be met with, anger, vitriol, pitchforks, torches, the standard fare for most gaming communities when the hornet's nest is kicked. And look, I'm not being like a dick there. Oftentimes it's consumer revolt with a very good reason, is what I'm trying to say. But the problem, though, is that these companies keep getting hit, they keep getting hit, and it's getting harder and harder to tell what's a troll and what's realistic. And when these items keep getting abused, when these things keep getting abused, they're eventually going to go and just get rid of it. And that is how these things operate. I'm sorry, I hate to break it to you. That is the truth. But we'll have to wait and see what Valve does. Guaranteed, if they take any action here to change up the system, it's going to be a very, very, very interesting time. And I almost look forward to this dumpster fire, predominantly because I'm a console player. So doesn't really impact me much at all. But you guys voice yourselves. But just understand that with that does come consequences.